All right, you freaks and degenerates, strap yourselves in because today we're diving headfirst into Frank Herbert's Dune.
Oh, yeah.
It's a goddamn classic. We all know that.
Yeah?
Hugo and Nebula Awards and all that crap. But we're not here for the fancy literary bullshit.
Nope.
We're here to rip this thing open and see what makes it tick.
Yeah.
Why are people still freaking out about this book after all these years?
Good question.
Is it just giant sandworms and some kind of space crack, or is there more to it?
It's definitely more than just sandworms and space crack, although those are pretty damn cool. But Herbert created this crazy, intricate universe that's like a weird mix of fantasy and shit that hits way too close to home, you know, with all the messed up stuff going on in the world.
Yeah, everyone keeps saying Dune is this super complex masterpiece, but let's be real, sometimes those masterpieces are just pretentious as fuck. So we're going to break it down for you, no bullshit, and see if it actually lives up to the hype. First off, Arrakis.
All right.
This planet is basically one giant, fucked up desert wasteland. What's the deal with this shithole?
Arrakis is brutal, man. Imagine the hottest, driest desert on Earth, multiply that by 1,000, and then throw in these giant sandworms that absolutely hate water.
Sandworms, huh?
Yeah. And get this, it's also the only source of spice melange.
Spice melange.
Yeah, this substance that extends life, makes you super aware, and basically makes interstellar travel possible.
So basically it's like space crack that everyone's hooked on.
Kinda, yeah, but with way more political and economic implications. Think of it like oil in our world. Whoever controls the spice controls the galaxy, and that control, well, it comes with a heavy price. The environment on Arrakis is harsh, man. The Fremen who live there, they gotta adapt in some pretty insane ways just to survive. They literally recycle their own piss to get water.
Damn, that's some next-level commitment to sustainability right there. Speaking of the Fremen, these desert-dwelling badasses, they worship some dude called Modib.
Modib.
Who the hell is this guy?
Yeah, and why are they so obsessed with him? Well, Modib is like their messiah figure, the one they believe will lead them to freedom and prosperity. It's a really complex mix of religion and just trying to survive, you know, driven by generations of oppression and hardship. And Herbert was clever about it. He weaved in real-world influences into the Fremen. You see stuff from Bedouin culture, Islamic mysticism, even a little bit of Zen Buddhism.
Okay, so we've got this messed up planet, spice-addled space travel, and a bunch of desert warriors waiting for their messiah to show up. So where the hell does our boy Paul Atreides fit into all of this? He starts off as this kind of whiny, privileged duke's son, right?
Right, but Paul's journey is where things get really wild. He's not just some random rich kid, you know? He's caught in the middle of this huge cosmic power struggle. He's a pawn in a game played by these powerful forces that he doesn't even begin to understand yet.
Hold up, are you talking about the Bene Gesserit?
I am.
Those mystical bitches with the mind control powers? What's their deal?
The Bene Gesserit are this ancient sisterhood with plans that span centuries. They've been pulling the strings from behind the scenes forever. They manipulate bloodlines, use their psychic abilities and political maneuvering to control the course of history. Their whole goal was to breed this superhuman, the Kwisatz Haderach, someone with powers beyond their own, someone who could see across time and space. And guess what? Paul might just be that guy.
So this whiny little duke's son is potentially the key to, like, galactic domination. Okay, that escalated quickly. But let's not forget about the family drama here. You've got House Atreides, the good guys, although let's be real, every powerful family has their dark secrets. And then there's House Harkonnen, the bad guys. And I mean, seriously fucked up bad guys.
The worst.
So what's the deal with these feuding families?
It's a feud that goes way back, fueled by power, betrayal, and a whole lot of bad blood. The Emperor, the ultimate puppet master, he uses this rivalry between the families to keep his grip on the galaxy. It's all about control, you know? Resources and playing these powerful houses against each other.
So it's basically like Game of Thrones in space, but with less incest and more giant sandworm.
Exactly. But it's not just about violence and political maneuvering. Herbert is exploring some deep shit here. He's asking questions about the nature of power, the dangers of religious fanaticism, and how ecological disaster can shape entire societies.
So you're saying this isn't just some space opera bullshit. There's actually substance beneath all the sand and space.
Oh, absolutely. Dune is full of philosophical and political allegory. It's about the choices we make, the paths we choose, and the consequences of those decisions. It's about how even the best intentions can lead to disastrous outcomes.
Okay, I'm starting to see why this book is considered a mindfuck. We've got this intricate web of political intrigue, religious fervor, environmental collapse, and a reluctant hero who might just become a tyrant. Where the hell do we go from here?
Well, Paul's journey is just beginning. He's going to have to face challenges that will test his limits, confront his own destiny, and ultimately decide the fate of the entire galaxy.
Shit just got real. All right, you beautiful degenerates. We're just scratching the surface here. Stay tuned as we dive deeper into the twisted world of Dune. We'll explore the fucked up dynamics of House Harkonnen and witness Paul's transformation from a whiny rich kid to a potential space messiah.
I can't wait. So, when we left off, the Atreides were getting totally screwed over by the Harkonnens and the Emperor's sneaky Sardaukar soldiers.
Yeah, poor Duke Leto. That dude got played hard. And that backstabbing piece of shit, Dr. Yi. Talk about betrayal.
I mean, you got to cut you some slack, right? The Baron had his wife, Wanna. He was holding her hostage, basically dangling her life in front of him to force him to betray the Atreides.
Okay, yeah, I get it. But let's be real. The Harkonnens are just pure evil. That Baron with his fat rolls and creepy-ass pustules, he's like a walking, talking nightmare. And his mentat, Peter de Vries, that dude is seriously fucked up.
De Vries is a product of Harkonnen cruelty, that's for sure. He's brilliant, no doubt, but totally twisted, manipulated into this weapon of pure sadism. Mentats, by the way, are like human computers. They've trained their minds to like process information and strategize at superhuman levels.
Hold on. So they're like walking calculators with a taste for torture. That's messed up. But let's get back to Paul and Jessica. They managed to escape into the deep desert.
Yeah.
Right. Talk about a shitty vacation.
This is where Paul's journey really kicks into overdrive. Remember all those prophetic dreams he was having? Well, being surrounded by all that spice and the harshness of Arrakis, his powers start going haywire. He starts seeing multiple possible futures, and he starts realizing, that he's got a bigger role to play than just being some duke's son.
And Jessica, she's got her own secrets too, right? Didn't you mention something about the Baron being her baby daddy?
Oh yeah, that's one of the bombshells that Herbert just drops on you. The Bene Gesserit, remember, they're obsessed with bloodlines. Jessica was supposed to have a daughter for their, breeding program. But she went against orders, gave Duke Leto a son, Paul, out of love. And oh yeah, the Baron is her father, which of course the Bene Gesserit kept from her. Just another way to manipulate things.
Those Bene Gesserit bitches are like the ultimate puppet masters, I swear. Impressive, but creepy as hell. But back to the action. Paul and Jessica end up with the Fremen, right? How do they convince these hardcore desert warriors to follow some soft, rich kid from another planet?
It's a few things, actually. Paul proves himself, shows them his skills and courage, like in this ritualistic crysknife fight, with their sacred weapon. And that's how he gets the name Wadib, which links him to their whole messianic prophecy thing. Jessica, with all her Bene Gesserit training, goes through this dangerous ritual to become a reverend mother, which gives her access to, the collective memory of all the Bene Gesserit who came before her, strengthens her bond with the Fremen.
Okay, so they go full Freeman. Sign me up for some sandworm riding lessons.
Whoa, hold on. It's not all sunshine and sand surfing out there. Paul's starting to see just how heavy this whole power thing really is. He sees how the Fremen could overthrow the Harkonnens and the Emperor, but he also sees how their religious fanaticism, how it could easily lead to a galaxy-wide jihad, a holy war that could destroy everything.
Damn. Talk about a catch-22. Messiah or warmonger. Not exactly a walk in the park, huh?
And it gets even more complicated when you bring in Paul's prescience. He can see the future, sure, but the more he uses it, the more he feels trapped by it, like he's losing his free will, becoming a puppet of destiny.
So what the fuck does he do? Does he just say fuck it and embrace becoming the Fremen Messiah, lead them to this glorious war? Or does he try to break free from this whole predetermined path?
That's the million-dollar question. And to answer it, we gotta go deeper into this crazy story. We'll unpack the Emperor and the Baron's messed up schemes, see how the Fremen are getting ready for war, and watch Paul's transformation into the Kwisatz Haderach, which is pretty terrifying, to be honest.
All right, you beautiful degenerates. We're about to go full throttle into the heart of this mindfuck. Get ready for betrayals, bloodshed, and some seriously fucked up shit.
Let's just say you're about to see what happens when a reluctant hero becomes a force of nature.
Okay, so last we left off, Paul's basically gone full Fremen, leading raids, messing with the spice flow, and I bet the Emperor and the Baron are shitting themselves.
Oh, they're definitely not happy. Spice production's tanked, and Paul, a.k.a. Wadib, is becoming a serious pain in their asses.
It's classic, right? The people in power always freak out when someone challenges them.
Yeah, makes sense. So what do these power-hungry assholes do about it?
Well, the Baron, being the sadist that he is, He unleashes his nephew, Rabban, on Arrakis.
Ogon.
Yeah.
Yeah. Total, brutal tyrant. Rules through fear and violence. The idea is to make the Baron's other nephew, Feyd-Rautha, look good by comparison when he eventually takes over.
Feyd-Rautha, that sneaky bastard. He's like the Harkonnen version of a Machiavellian prince or something, always scheming.
Right. And the Emperor. He's just a paranoid old fart who's scared of anyone who might threaten his throne. He suspects the Baron is building an army to challenge him, so he sends his elite Sardaukar troops, like his personal death squad, to keep an eye on things.
Talk about a clusterfuck. Everyone's stabbing everyone else in the back. You need a goddamn flowchart to figure out who's betraying who.
It's a mess. And in the middle of all this chaos, you've got Paul trying to, walk a tightrope. He knows a showdown with the Emperor is coming, but he's also trying to keep the Fremen in check because they're getting ready for their jihad and are thirsty for blood.
He's like a dude trying to ride a tsunami. One wrong move, and it's over.
And then, of course, you've got Gurney Halleck coming back into the picture. Remember that badass warrior? Totally loyal to Paul's dad. Thought Jessica was a traitor and almost killed her before Paul stopped him.
Oh, yeah, Gurney. He's a legend, but even legends screw up sometimes.
The whole thing was a wake-up call for Paul. He realized his prescience wasn't perfect. Even he could be blindsided. And it pushed him to take bigger risks and dig deeper into his powers, which is why he decides to drink the water of life.
Wait, isn't that shit deadly for men? It's like playing Russian roulette with a spice-induced coma.
It's insanely dangerous. The water of life, it's this concentrated form of spice, and for men, it's usually fatal. But Paul knew he had to push himself to become the Kwisatz Haderach. He had to see not just the future, but all the possible futures.
So does he make it? Does he survive this crazy spice trip?
He does, but when he comes out the other side, he's not the same Paul Atreides who landed on Arrakis. He's the Kwisatz Haderach. A being with, godlike powers, able to see across time and space, to perceive the threads of fate itself.
Holy shit. Talk about a power-up. So what does Super Paul do with all this newfound power? Does he just snap his fingers and end the war?
He does what he has to. He leads the Fremen in this final massive attack against the Harkonnens and the Emperor's forces. They're riding giant sandworms into battle, destroying the defenses of Arrakeen. It's total chaos.
Giant sandworms, epic battles, rivers of blood. Sounds like a heavy metal album cover.
It's intense. Paul's sister, Aaliyah, she's got her own set of freaky powers, and she takes out the Baron. And Thufir Hawat, the Atreides Mentat who was forced to work for the Harkonnens, he gets his revenge before the poison the Baron used to control him finally takes him out.
So, happy ending, right? Paul wins, becomes emperor, gets the girl, saves the galaxy. Everyone goes home happy.
Not so fast. Paul might have won the battle, but he's lost something much more important: his freedom. He's a prisoner of his own prescience now, trapped by the path he had to take. He knows the Fremen Jihad is going to lead to unimaginable bloodshed across the galaxy, but he can't stop it.
Damn, what a fucked up twist. So what's the point of this whole crazy story then?
I think Herbert was trying to warn us about the dangers of hero worship, blind faith, and the seductive nature of power. He's showing us that even with good intentions, good people can become tyrants. Paul Atreides started out as a decent kid, but in the end, he becomes the very thing he was trying to avoid: a god emperor, ruling through fear and prophecy.
Shit, that's some heavy stuff. I need a drink. Or maybe a therapist.
Me too. But hey, at least we got to ride some giant sandworms along the way.
True. All right, you magnificent degenerates, that's our deep dive into Dune. If you haven't read it yet, go check it out. It'll mess with your head in the best way possible. And if you have read, well, go read it again. There's always something new to discover. Stay curious, stay skeptical, and don't trust any goddamn messiahs. We'll catch you on the flip side.